everything is a risk. Okay, everything. That's risky, they tell you, right? That's risky. That sounds risky. That sounds dangerous. It's like a motto growing up from our parents to our teachers to role models. If the middle class mentality could be defined in one statement, it would be, that sounds risky, or that sounds dangerous. Okay, it implies two things, right? When people tell you it sounds risky, it implies what you're doing is dangerous, number one. Number two, don't take risks, right? Don't take risks because something bad could happen, okay? There's some truth to that statement, except the qualifier, which you never hear, is don't take dumb risks, okay? Don't do dumb shit. Don't take dumb risks with no ROI. Don't take uncalculated risks for no reason. That's good advice. Calculated risks, on the other hand, is something entirely different, okay? But more importantly, what you don't learn with a middle class mentality, what you don't learn when someone tells you that sounds risky and leaves it at that, is that everything is a risk. Every fucking thing you do is a risk. And everything you do is an opportunity cost of not doing something else. So you risk something by not doing something. You also risk the potential of massive success in a different area by the opportunity cost of working or doing something else. Okay? Everything is a risk. Yes, it's a risk to start a business, but it's also a risk not to start a business, right? It's a risk to work for $45,000 a year, right? You're risking not making 6 figures, 250, 500, 7 figures a year. Okay? It's a risk not to start a business. Working a job is a risk of getting fired, getting replaced by a robot at some point in the future, and the biggest risk of all, not getting wealthy, because it's very hard to get wealthy when your salary is $45,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 and there's no commission and there's no movement upwards and life is expensive. Okay? 1% of people are comfortable in North America. Shit, around the world, right? 1%. People that are wealthy. It's ugly. It's nasty. That's how the world works. Okay? That's the reality. You risk not being wealthy. In fact, you guarantee it. You guarantee it by working a job. Okay? Err on the side of caution, people tell you. But caution is not always your best move in life. Okay? Caution will keep your finances in mediocrity. So that if/when disaster strikes, medical problem, getting fired, some type of event, you're not protected, you're not prepared, you don't have abundance, you don't have prosperity, you don't have 3 or 4 streams of income. You're solely dependent on one stream of income, selling your time for money and for a relatively small amount of money. When the reality is you need a good amount of money to be able to be comfortable and financially secure and financially stable. Okay? If/when disaster strikes, you're not protected and prepared. That's a big risk. And you risk not living a life of prosperity and abundance. That's a risk too. That's a serious risk, especially as you start to get older and you want to retire. Okay, if you want to retire, you need about $1 million right now to be comfortable, right? 65, so you live to 85. You know, that's a long time without income coming in, especially if you have health problems, all right? And you risk not living a life of prosperity and abundance, and that's not even accurate. That's not even been accurate. You guarantee it. Okay, if you settle for 45, 50, 60 grand, you guarantee it, man. I mean, after taxes, your 60 grand is 3,800 or 4,000 after your your employment insurance, your social security, you know, all the other things, right? You're like 3,500, 4,000. You guarantee you're not going to be in prosperity or abundance. Guarantee it by not taking the risk of aggressively pursuing wealth and success. Okay? Settling for $50,000 a year is risky as fuck in my not so humble opinion. Sometimes I'm humble, sometimes I'm not so humble. That's risky, dude, for the rest of your life. Also, you're saying that job, right? That's going to have to continue for 25, 30 years, right? No innovations in the job, not being replaced by a machine, assuming that you're still going to be employable, right? How old's your manager right now? Okay, your manager is 35 or 37. Are you going to be willing to work for that, for a 37-year-old into your 50s and 60s? Or they're going to hire and replace that with somebody new if that job even exists? Like, look how quickly the world's evolving, right? That to me is risky, okay? That advice, because you're not working the same job and you're going to retire with a gold watch and being able to buy a house yourself. Times have changed. Everyone lives on credit. For the most people, need two people working to buy a house because they're not wealthy. Jobs change constantly. Technologically is expanding exponentially quickly to a mind-boggling rate. Okay, settling and working some job for 50 grand is risky, in my opinion. All right, the big risk is yes, starting a business is a risk, but the bigger risk is not aggressively trying to get wealthy and to get comfortable. Not so you can buy Louis Vuitton. The luxury goods is not Louis Vuitton. Luxury goods is financial security and stability, and that comes from aggression. That doesn't come from playing cautious and playing defense. That's not just given to you. You have to go hard to get that stuff. Okay, it's a risk to build a business. Okay. It's also a risk to take your 6-figure business and spend $150,000, $200,000 on marketing to get it to 7 figures, right? But so is not aggressively increasing your revenue year over year. That's a huge risk in business, right? Because if you're not increasing, you're decreasing and you're dying, or you're neutral, which means you're just slowly dying because the gravity is going to bring a flat line down, okay? Yes, you risk social shame by aggressively going after new clients, cold calls, in person. You risk people being ashamed. You risk people saying, hey, you're putting pressure on me, right? But that's all you risk. The bigger risk is not going after clients, because you don't get new clients, your business dies. It's done, okay? You need to get new clients all the time. You need to be consistently going after new clients or your business is going to die. Okay, that's the bigger risk. Yes, testosterone replacement therapy and aggressively pursuing anti-aging technologies, stem cells, HGH, all this stuff is a risk. Absolutely. But so is getting old, quote unquote, gracefully. Okay, old age kills more people than every disease combined. Old age kills more people than cigarettes, heart attacks, cancer, drunk driving, everything, man. Old age will kill you if the other stuff doesn't, right? So aggressively pursuing anti-aging technology might be a risk, but the fucking big risk is that you're going to die of old age and your body's consistently, going to stop producing the things that keep you healthy. That's a massive risk, okay? I don't like either scenario, but you have to understand it's a risk not going after that. And it's a risk not having the money to aggressively pursue anti-aging technologies and stem cells and nanotechnology and whatever the fuck else crazy shit they're going to invent, okay? That's a risk.